And you think they would see that this is not beneficial to anybody.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't make a commitment to the world and then back off from it. You can't do that. You know, you'll never be trusted again.
Absolutely.
And right now, our own country ain't trusting us. We're bringing this on ourselves.
Yeah.
And you can't blame Russia. You can't blame anybody else anymore. You couldn't blame Hitler either.
Yeah.
He was allowed to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, he had, well, yeah, in Germany, they really, he was a savior.
Yeah.
I mean, I like this M guy in North Korea, his uncle. You know, you see these thousands and thousands of people out there, and every word, mood, or whatever he presents, everybody's clapping. Everybody is clapping. Million people out there, all clapping, clapping. Well, his uncle didn't clap, and he ain't here no more.
Wow.
Because people are clapping because they're afraid not to.
Absolutely.
And they're laughing. Do you think they're thinking different?
I think so. Many
They're not
cases.
convincing themselves. You know, they're not really convincing themselves. But you see, when the whole group is doing it, it's really tough to stand out. I mean, look at the opposition you're drawing to yourself when you step outside that natural man mind reasoning episode of dramas and dramas and dramas, you know, and you know, you ask people to explain a certain drama that they're going through, and and they don't know.
Yeah.
See, I find that so many of the arguments they're not even they don't have a substance.
Yeah.
They're just that Jesus said it too. All those who come before me are thieves and robbers because they're stealing his attention. You know, it has your attention, has your life. And that's even true for him because he was, I am a man, he said, didn't he?
Absolutely.
Well, man would experience it that way, so would he. That was the whole idea. God was coming here and saying, look, I'm like you. Come and talk to me. You know, I've had so many people, they've never done that. They've never went in the closet, closed the door, and when they're alone, speak to their father. And yet you have an invitation to do so. What's slowing you down? You're not being denied anything. God's not denying anything for you. He gave you choose this day. How now he's not going to actually enter in your decisions on anything. You can do whatsoever you want, whatsoever, because that's and yes, I hear that too. That people say, "Oh, what about people taking those guns and shooting everybody?" Yeah, well, if God didn't do it, it wasn't done because He gave you choose this day, and then He only produced it. You thought it up. You dream up the monsters that you can't handle, and then you go whining and crying to God to get rid of them. And He's saying, "I know you're not." I mean, what could He do? He gave you choose this day. He can't butt in now. Why is He going to try to change your mind? when you're not trying to change your mind. I mean that would be forcing something, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You said we're given to choose, and a lot of times, we go whining and crying to God, but God's given the individual the choice of choose this day. And even that's hard for some people to hear that God's given us choice because we want to put it all on God to advocate responsibility of ourselves.
Well, responsibility. This scares everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, it seems like a really heavy load, but actually, that's your attitude. See, that this is so hard. That this is, I can't do that. But you can. If God gave it to you to do, then He knows you can do it. So the only opposition you have is yourself. God's already agreed. God's agreed to everything. And when He gave you whatsoever to choose from, He agreed with everything, didn't He?
absolutely.
Do you think so?
Absolutely. He did.
He left the door wide open. The portal is free to jump right through. And you can do this. You know, I don't really speak of it as much as I would like to about the theater of mind because this is not church. This is theater of the mind. Your mind, the mind, and it's all connected because God is all things to all, so it's all connected. So whatever you're thinking feelingly about, He knows, but He doesn't know because He's has an amnesia type of thing that he's not taking responsibility for anything here except the building of your talking to yourself is taken into consideration for what to make your life is. You're always thinking ahead of your evidence. And if you want your evidence to be lovely and of good report, then you have to think on it. If you want it to be whatever else, well, you think upon that and you got it and here to try to get rid of it, but you won't let it go. Yeah, I did that same thing. I'd be praying to get rid of it, but 5 minutes later, I'm getting rid of it again. See, God says that prayed, asked for what you wanted, now believe you receive it. Well, you don't have faith enough for that, but you can order something out of the catalog, and you can talk to everybody around you about what's coming. You're expecting it. Well, why wouldn't you expect God offer to you to receive it? I mean, it's like the catalog thing. You have to ship it out. See, they have to box it and ship it out. It's the same thing. It has to build. And every time you're focused on what it is you're passionately about, whatever that is, and I'm not here questioning anything that you want or what or nothing else. That's not the idea. The idea is just to convince you, if it's possible, that you're in charge, even if you're out of control. What do you say? See, it says it all. Doesn't it say it all?
It absolutely does. Absolutely does.
No, I heard you say about people wanting to see me. Why?
That's the society that we're in. Everybody wants to know. It's like they believe that in seeing you or hearing about Lindo, the student of Neville, that it's going to add something to their lives. And some people, they just don't believe that the talks are complete because they say, well, he doesn't share of himself. He tells about, theories or whatever, but he doesn't share about him. When are you going to get him to talk about him? I said, I can't force him to talk about him. I said, his goal is you learning your story, not his story. So here we are.
Yeah. Why would you want to know me? You know, it's the same thing as on the television here, in big red letters and something you need to know. And it was a guy in a little plane who crashed in Florida. In Florida. I'm in California, Florida. News I need to know. And what am I going to do about it? I don't know the guy. I don't know anything that happened. I mean, I'm sorry you had a crash, but what can I say? No, no. I just don't understand. The 90% of the news you don't really need to know, do you?
Absolutely not. Probably more than
I
that.
mean, really. Other than the weather or something like that, I can understand that, but
Yeah,
and even that, you got no assurances.
that's
You know,
true.
they say it's going to do this and it does something else. You know, now they're going to have to go through a whole system. See, our present our, well attitude about weather is now got to change completely. But I don't know enough about it to figure anything out. Oh, I don't figure anything out anyway because yeah. See, that's the problem. People don't want to figure things out for themselves, and they think that this is something that they have to figure out, and so they get discouraged very easily. But you don't have to figure it out. As a matter of fact, I'm sure God would really love you to just shut up. I mean, really, come on, just sit down, be quiet, as a matter of fact, it doesn't say be quiet, it says be still. You know, it's like you always scratching yourself. Man. Get rid of all of that. Sit there long. Hey, I know what I'm asking you to do. Believe me, because I went through it. And it took me a couple of years to get it. But then again, that was 50 years ago, and that was a different time. And when I was giving the talks at the Metaphysical Art Theater, people were afraid of words. I mean, they give you the they were afraid of words. And it's a good thing. The only reason I made any success at all is that I didn't know any big words. I had to give it to them as I got it. But I'm giving it to you the way I got it. That doesn't say that it's according to anything else. I just received it. I didn't do anything to do it except just be still. And that took me, like I said, just that took me a good 2 years. Just just to be able to sit down and shut up. I mean, nothing going on purposely. You're told be still and know that I'm God right here with you. Omnipresence isn't that right here, right now?
Absolutely.
So, and now he says, now is the appointed hour of desired change. I mean, we know it's all going to be changed, but desired change. See, that's a big difference. And you get to choose it. And say, choose this day. And like I said, always this day. And you get to choose every day. So you can't say, I missed it. He said, choose that day. And that was years ago. No, I know. No, it's always this day. You can hang it Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever you want on it, but it's today. And you're responsible for what you think today. And if you think different today, than you did yesterday, there'll be a certain little change. I had a half a dozen of Neville's tapes, and I listened to them at least one every night for years before it actually touched base. I began thinking differently. The importance of having a CD, because what has your focus has your life. Think about it. We're not asking you to join anything, but you have to have the CDs. You have to have the DVDs. You have to listen to them. It's you training this. Listen, listen, listen.
But as Mr. Lindell stated, you have to listen to them repeatedly. And again, for those who are interested, click the link below and it will take you to the 4 CD set, and you'll be able to transform not only your mind, but your world.